Hello, and welcome to my channel, Naughty Gnome Crafts. My name is Sarah, and you can find me as Naughty Gnome on Instagram. Whether you are a new or returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me today. Last week, I crossed a milestone. I got over 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank each and every one of you who takes time out of your day to watch my videos. I really appreciate it. And since restarting my YouTube channel, I have formed so many wonderful friendships with people who share my love of sewing and making garments. And I just really love talking to you guys, and thank you so much for helping me to achieve this milestone, and I hope to just keep going. So I have a little bit of administrative notes before we get into today's video. This is going to be my last Friday Sews for a little while. I will be going out of town next week to spend time with family, and so I will not be able to film Friday Sews, but I did pre-film a few videos to be posted while I am on vacation, so you have those to look forward to. And then actually when I come back from vacation, I will be going back to the office for 4 days a week, and so that's going to be a pretty big life change, and I'm not sure how that's going to affect my crafting, although I'm sure that I will have less time to craft. And I don't know how that's going to affect my filming schedule, whether I'm going to be able to keep up with Friday Sews or if I'm going to need to move it to a different day. I don't know, I'm just going to play by ear, but just to let you know, things are going to be a little bit quiet for a little bit, and then a little bit maybe of turmoil while I try to figure things out moving forward. So in today's video, I have one woven top to talk about and three finished knit garments. And then I have one work in progress, and then I have a couple of knitting projects to talk to you about. So let's just get started. So my friend Michelle from the YouTube channel Michelle Sews Again is hosting a challenge for the month of August called Sew My Birthday. And the inspiration is to make a garment that is inspired by the year that you were born. So I had a little bit of a hard time with this because I was born in 1980, and so anytime you Google 1980 fashion, you get fashion examples from the entire decade, and all of the iconic 80s fashion, you know, like the big hair and the Madonna and Cyndi Lauper stuff and the neon and all that kind of stuff, that was much later in the decade. The year 1980 was really, obviously, it's a transitional year, and so I think like styles were really much more geared towards 70s rather than 80s. So I had a little bit of a hard time finding inspiration for the actual year that I was born. But I did manage to find one site on Google that kind of talks about fashions from each individual year. And although it did not have any pictures, it did have some descriptions of what was popular in the year 1980. And one of the things that was popular were things like button-up blouses, like feminine flowy blouses paired with like pleated high-waisted pants. So I would have loved to make an entire outfit for this challenge, but I just am not going to have time before I go out of town. But I did manage to make a blouse for the challenge. This is made out of a rayon crepe that I got from fabric.com. I had about 1.5 yards, and it's a fairly traditional shirt. It has a collar and a collar stand. It has a cuff, although there is no button. It has like some pleats in the cuff, and it's really, really hard to see, but they're sort of like diagonal pleats. But the cuff is really loose. There's no closure on it. And then it has like a separate button band piece, and it has a lined yoke in the back, and you can probably see that here. So this pattern is from a Burda magazine. It's from this issue of Burda, which is March of 2019. Now, I have had a subscription to Burda magazine a couple of different times throughout my life, and I probably own about 20 issues of Burda, and I've sewn from the magazine less than 5 times. I just never use these patterns. And so I decided that I was determined to make use of some of these magazines that I never used. So I was like thumbing through the magazine, and I found a shirt that I thought I would try. And it's this one here. It's number 113. And you can see from the line drawing that it just looks like kind of a basic shirt. And maybe you can kind of see those pleats that I'm talking about. And it has a shirt tail hem. So I made the size 36, and unfortunately, this shirt does not fit. It's huge. Looking at the model, there's no indication that it's meant to be particularly oversized, but on me, it hangs off of my shoulder, so it's too big overall. It's very roomy, and so this part is on me because I'm 4'9". I always check the length of patterns. I checked the sleeve length. This in the picture, it's a 3/4 length, but I knew that when I tested it before I cut it out, that it was gonna be a full length sleeve on me, and I was like, that's fine. But I did not check the length of the shirt overall. And as you can see in the picture, it's tucked in, and in the line drawings, it doesn't look particularly long, although like how can you tell from that line drawing? And for whatever reason, I just didn't think to check the body length before I cut it out. And long story short, the shirt came to my knees. It was extremely long. It was longer in the back than in the front, but it was definitely like a tunic length shirt, which I did not want. So I was a little bit mad at myself for wasting the fabric and not checking this thing in advance that I always check because I'm so short. So I ended up going back and chopping off the entire scooped hem here. I just cut it off straight, or I cut it off as straight as I could. It's actually not very straight. I don't know if you can tell here, but well, you probably can. But the hem is not very even, and like the button bands don't even line up because I just did a horrible job trying to get them cut off straight. But it's still long enough to tuck in, and I'll probably always wear it tucked in. But yeah, that wasn't great on my part either. So all in all, because it's too big, and because I had to hack it to try to get it to be so it wasn't like down to my knees, I'm not in love with this shirt. I do think that it looks very early 80s, maybe to sort of a detriment. I don't know. I like this fabric. I think that it's pretty, but I kind of think that in this shirt, it just doesn't look that great. And unfortunately, I have not had a chance to take a picture. I'm hoping to get my photo for the challenge up by the weekend, so you might want to check my Instagram feed for that. But yeah, I'm not going to call it a fail. I probably will still wear the shirt, but it's not my favorite, and it definitely did not encourage me to use Burda magazine more, because I made the size 36, and that is the smallest size in Burda. I'm just worried that if their garments are regularly oversized on me, that I'm not going to be able to size down. And so like that, combined with all of the hassle of having to trace and add seam allowance, I just think maybe Burda magazine is not my jam. And that's okay, because there's plenty of other patterns out there. So that was the first thing that I completed this week. So after finishing the Burda shirt, I was ready to go back to some knits. I have a separate cover stitch machine. I don't have a combo serger cover stitch, and I only have room on my sewing table for one extra machine besides my sewing machine. So if I'm going to get out my cover stitch, I try to just sew a bunch of knits all at once in order to kind of maximize my use of getting out this extra machine that's normally in a storage cabinet. So I made a bunch of knits. So the first t-shirt that I completed is the Basic Instinct tee by the company Secondo Piano, I think is the name of them. I think it's an Italian company. And this is a free pattern. Unfortunately, the size range is not the best. I will try to put a picture of the size chart on the screen. I made the smallest size. And this fabric is a cotton, I think it's a cotton jersey blend from Girl Charlie that I got back in 2013. I don't know if you were in the sewing community in 2013, but way back then, like chevrons were all the rage, and I bought several of these fabrics in different colors, and I used most of them, but I had this one left. And a couple years after, I got sick of chevrons, and so I don't even like this fabric anymore, but I just wanted to use it as a muslin to test the fit of this t-shirt and see if I liked it. And I actually love the fit of this so much that I think I'm actually going to keep this t-shirt and wear it, even though I don't necessarily love this fabric anymore. I made the extra small, I can't remember if I said that, and the fit is just perfect. It's just slightly boxy, it's a little bit oversized, but it's not too loose. It looks really good tucked in, it's a good length. I made the French Navy Stellan tee earlier this year, and I wanted that to be my go-to boxy t-shirt, but there's just something a little bit weird about the fit underneath the arms on me. There's just a fit issue there, whereas this t-shirt doesn't have that issue. It has this nice high crew neck, but it's not like too close to the neck. It's not like choky or anything. It's just right. And yeah, I really love this t-shirt. I think this is probably going to become my go-to boxy t-shirt, and like bonus that it was a free pattern. And I want to cut out another one. I think I might make one more of these before I put my cover stitch away. But yeah, I love this so much. Maybe I'll fall back in love with chevrons because like I said, I got really sick of them, but I did like them at one point. And yeah, I do kind of like this t-shirt. I actually wore it for a whole day the other day, and it was really comfortable. So yeah, love this t-shirt. I don't have much more to say about it. And yeah, that was the Basic Instinct tee. Oh, and I did find out about this pattern from Polly of the Sewing Edit. She has made the pattern a couple of times, and I'd never heard of it before, but I'm so glad that she mentioned it on her vlog because it just encouraged me to try it, and I really love the pattern. So thank you to Polly. So next on my list, I wanted to get started with my August sewing plans, and I had wanted to make a t-shirt for my niece for her birthday, which is in a couple of weeks. And of course I had to have it finished before I actually travel next week. So I chose the DIBY Club Kids Anything But Basic tee, and it's just a crew neck t-shirt. I think there are a couple of different sleeve lengths that you can do, and for the child's version there's some different fits. There's like a slim fit and a regular fit. So this is the size 12 in the regular fit. And I do have my niece's measurements. My brother sent them to me, and they're a few months old, but I think that they're probably still relatively accurate. And I checked, and this is kind of like the size bigger than what she would wear, but I just want her to be able to wear it for a little while, so I thought that she could grow into it. She's turning 10 in August. And I used this cotton spandex jersey that I got from Joann in this beautiful rainbow stripe fabric. I did my best to match the stripes, but like it is a little bit difficult because these stripes are actually slightly uneven. They're not perfectly straight, I guess. So it's not a perfect match, but I did my best, and I think it actually looks okay. And it's for a child. I was like, is she really going to be like staring in the mirror being like, these stripes don't match at the side seams? I think it's okay. But yeah, this is so cute, and I know that I had said in my plans video that I had bought this fabric to make something for myself, decided it was too juvenile for me, and so I saved it for my niece. And now that I've actually made this top for my niece, I wish that I had made it for myself because I think it's adorable. I actually do have a significant amount of this fabric left. I probably used about 3/4 of a yard to make this t-shirt, and so I think I had 1.5 yards to begin with. So I might be able to use that fabric in the future as like a color blocked t-shirt or something like that, which I think would be really cute. But yeah, that is probably the final make that I'm going to give to my niece for her birthday, and I'm really glad I could cross that one off my list. So my final finish of the week is actually the top that I am wearing. This is the Hermann tee from Sewing Machina, I think is the name. If that's not right, I'll put it on the screen. This pattern was featured on the Makerist a few months back, and it was a limited time free download. So I was able to download the pattern for free. I will link the pattern in the description box. I have no idea how much it costs normally, but I will say that the Makerist often has sales. So if you are interested in the pattern, you might want to just keep an eye out for their next sale. So the features of this pattern is that it's a pretty boxy tee with very loose fitting sleeves, but it has this beautiful scooped back. And I think it's probably going to be best for me to just insert some pictures rather than trying to like fiddle with moving the camera around. So I will insert pictures of me wearing it so you can see what it looks like. And the fabric that I used is this rayon spandex jersey that I got from Joann's in a tie-dye pattern. Now, I've not had the best luck with Joann's knit fabrics, especially their rayon jerseys. I've had them, the ones I've tried in the past have pilled and they just haven't lasted very long. So I don't have a lot of high hopes for this fabric, but I will say that it was pleasant to sew up. It held its shape. It didn't curl too much, and it actually feels like pretty substantial, like it's not see-through or anything. So I was actually kind of impressed with the quality of this, and I'm hoping that it doesn't pill and that it will withstand washing and drying, or not drying, I don't dry my clothes, but like I hope it will withstand washing. And if it does, like I won't be as afraid to use Joanne knits in the future, because this does seem really nice and I like the print. So for this t-shirt, I made the size AB, and there's two variations. There's a higher scoop and then a lower scoop, and I used the higher scoop back, and I really love, this is again like a pretty boxy fit. I will say that if you want to make this tee, I would recommend using a more fluid jersey like a rayon or bamboo rather than a cotton, because I think that a cotton spandex might be a little bit too stiff and it would look very boxy on you, but because this has a really fluid drape, it just kind of flows over the body, and the bagginess doesn't detract from the style. And yeah, the scoop back I think is just a nice sort of unexpected and unique detail. So I really like this top. This shirt, I don't think I mentioned, I saw Ruanne from the Yorkshire Sew Girl make it up on her channel, and it kind of reminded me like, oh yeah, I downloaded that pattern when it was free, I should make it up. So I really like this top so much that I was thinking about making another one, but right now I'm resisting because it does have that unique feature of the scoop back, and I just don't know that I actually need more than one of those, especially as we're heading into fall and winter. I will not be wearing this top in the fall and winter because it'll just be way too cold. But for a spring and summer garment, I think that it's really nice. So yeah, the Hermann tee, I highly recommend that one if you wanted to try it out. So now let's talk about my work in progress. Right now, I am sewing up the Ruska knot dress from the book Breaking the Pattern. I bought this book last year, and this is on my Make 9 list and was also part of my August plans. And I will show you the picture of the dress. And I am very close to being finished. I only have the sleeve hems and the dress hem left to do, otherwise it's finished. And I'm using this rayon rayon jersey from Style Maker Fabrics and this beautiful floral print. So it's a little bit tricky because I'm in that stage where I'm almost done with sewing, that with nearly every project, I'm like in the stage of where I hate it for some reason. So I might change my mind after it's actually hemmed and washed. I might decide that I like it, but right now I will say that I'm not in love with this. First of all, I don't really like the way the ties are finished. The ties are just hemmed, and because my fabric is a print, it has a very obvious wrong side, so you have to worry about like fiddling with the ties so that the wrong side isn't showing. I wish that there had been some way of them that they might have like faced the ties so that they wouldn't, that wouldn't be an issue. I also just found the process of hemming the ties to be fiddly. It wasn't my favorite thing to do. The second thing about this is I made it a size 2. So in the book, I think the sizes go from like 1 to 8. And I'll try to put a picture of the size chart up here so that you can see it for yourself. But my body measurements fit pretty well into the size 2, so that is the size I cut out. However, this was another thing when I tried it on, the dress is too big. Like the shoulders are hanging off of the edge of my shoulders, which tells me that it's a size too large. I don't think it's supposed to be a drop shoulder. The lengths are off. The problem, I did check the length on the pattern, but the problem with knits is that it's extremely hard to tell where like the waist or the bust is going to actually fit on your body because the fabric stretches, and it's going to change depending on what particular fabric that you use and how much it stretches. So it's just nearly impossible to tell from the paper pattern if you've got everything in the right location. And in this fabric, which is admittedly a very drapey, stretchy fabric, it's too long. The waist is below my natural waist. The overall length is actually fine. Once I hem it, I think it's going to be right around knee level, like probably just above the knee. And that is actually where I would want it to be. But if you look at the model photo, it's really short on her. So she's obviously taller than me. it doesn't say like how tall the model is, but I think the intention is for it to be quite a short dress. So if you are tall, I would definitely check the overall length, because I actually found that the length is pretty good on me and I'm extremely short. So yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, I think that if I were making this again, I would probably shorten the bodice to move this tie detail up probably like 1.5 to 2 inches. The other thing that I don't like about this is, like, again, if you can see in the picture, I'm sorry to keep getting this out, but like, I thought it was just an artifact in the picture. Like, you can see this tie here. She has it tied really loosely. And I was thinking originally, like, oh, it's a tie waist. Like, you can tie it as tight as you want and like make it as fitted as you want at the waist. That is actually not the case. Because of the way that the bodice is constructed, this front piece here is a separate overlay, and there is a limit to how tightly you can tie this section here. So even if you tie it as tight as you can, it is still a little bit loose and floppy, and especially in this fabric. And I just think it doesn't look that great. It looks, I don't know, it just looks like you got some flappy bits in front of your stomach, and like a lot of people, I don't really like that. It wasn't what I was envisioning in my head. So again, that's might be why I need to just like hem it, wash it, try it on again, and make my final decision later. Because I might just be holding an unrealistic expectation in my mind for what I thought this dress would be. But for right now, I'm not loving it. I think that I'll still wear it. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a fail, but I don't love it. That's pretty much all I have to say. So yeah, that's my Ruska knot dress. I am at least happy that I'm going to be able to check it off of my Make 9, so I only have 2 things left on the list to complete. And if you missed my Make 9 check-in video, I will add a card up so you can see that. So the last 2 things I have to talk to you about are actually knitting projects, and so if you are not here for the knitting, I totally understand. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you, well, you'll see me next week, even though I won't be here. But for everybody else, I finished my cakewalk socks, which I am going to be giving to my niece as part of her birthday gift. And so I cast on for a new project, and I am using some, I think this is Miss Babs. I have the things here, hold on. Yes, this is Miss Babs Yowza, which is 100% superwash merino. It's kind of a DK light worsted weight. It's very, very soft. And I have 2 colors of that. I have like this rose color and this burgundy. I just think they look so pretty together. And then I also have this mystery alpaca. It's 100% alpaca. It's roughly the same thickness as the Yowza. I bought this in a D-stash years and years and years ago, to the point where I no longer have the tags. Like, I don't even know what brand it is or how much I had or anything, but it's very nice. It's very fuzzy. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it has a lot of texture to it. And I decided that I wanted to make a V-neck drop shoulder cardigan that is striped. And unfortunately, I'm kind of in that stage where it's really hard to show you anything, but I am knitting it in one piece. I'm knitting it back and forth, and I started at the bottom with 1x1 rib, and then I'm just doing like these really thick 4-inch rugby type stripes. And here I've bound off some stitches for the armhole, and then I'm actually at this point knitting straight and also shaping for the V-neck of the cardigan, but like I said, it curls, so it's really hard to show you. But hopefully you can see there's some shaping there. And I'm actually pretty close to getting up to the neck level, and then all I have to do is add the sleeves, and this will be done. And I think that this is going to be really cute. My idea for this was I wanted kind of a cropped, oversized cardigan that I could wear buttoned up, almost like a top, more like a faux cardigan that's just like a V-neck pullover. Or, of course, I have the option of leaving it unbuttoned and wearing it layered over something like a turtleneck or something like that for the winter. And I was happy about the progress that I was making on this sweater. And then I got a message from a friend of mine. So we have another friend who is sadly moving away. She's moving to the Midwest at the end of the month. And my friend had sent me a message on Instagram saying that I'm like, I don't want to, I'm sure neither of them watch my channel, but I don't want to say names just in case. But like my friend is moving away. She loves rainbows. And my other friend was asking me if I could knit her a pair of rainbow socks as a going away present. And I was like, of course. And fortunately for everybody, I have a little bit of an obsession with rainbow yarn. And so I actually went to my stash and I pulled out like 4 different skeins and let my friend pick which one she thought was the best. So that was nice. I didn't have to buy yarn. It was all already in my stash. And I am using, oh, I don't have the tag here, but it's Vesper sock yarn. I don't know what she's calling the substrate, but this is the Corriedale nylon blend. So it's very sturdy. And it's basically a classic rainbow. I think the colorway is called True Colors. And I am knitting these socks cuff down. I did 1x1 half twisted rib, and I just did 1 full color repeat for the ribbing. And now I'm on the leg portion, just the stockinette leg portion. I'm just going to do very simple stockinette socks with a heel flap and gusset, because I find that when you're knitting for other people and you don't really know them very well, that the heel flap and gusset is kind of the safest choice in terms of making a sock for someone that fits. Because sometimes like the short row heels or afterthought heels, they can be a little bit tricky as far as getting the fit right, but I feel pretty safe with the heel flap and gusset. So that's what I'm doing. I'm using my size 0 carbons, and I'm gonna bring these with me on my vacation, and hopefully by the end of the month, I will have them finished up to give to my friend. So that is everything that I had to talk to you about. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you are having a good weekend and getting some time to spend with friends and family, as well as time to craft. And I will see you next time.